Time now for our business update, and Brian Quinn joins me in the studio. Brian, we're going to start with the US territory of Puerto Rico, where a lucrative contract to rebuild the electrical system has been cancelled.
Yeah, it's been nearly 6 weeks since Hurricane Maria devastated the island's power grid, and still around 70% of the country's homes and businesses remain without electricity. The contract for fixing the grid had been awarded to Whitefish Energy of Montana, a firm with only 2 permanent employees at the time and no previous experience on a job of such a scale. Well, now Puerto Rico's power company has pulled the contract amid criticism that the bid process may have been a bit too cozy. Julia Kim reports.
3/4 of Puerto Ricans may be without electricity, but they're not in the dark about the scandal surrounding Whitefish Energy. The Montana company's $300 million contract with Puerto Rico's national utility was scrapped, and US federal investigators are now looking into how a little-known two-man enterprise had been entrusted with restoring power to an island of 3.4 million people. But the head of the Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority, PREPA, says there's nothing fishy about the deal.
Our contract is being evaluated, and our procedures are being evaluated. I've been called by the United States Congress to provide information in person and answer some questions. So we're calm because we are sure everything was done according to procedure and according to the law.
But Whitefish's CEO is in hot water over his links to the Secretary of the Interior, Ryan Zinke, a former Montana congressman whose son also had a summer job with the company. It's denied any wrongdoing and called PREPA's decision to cancel the contract very disappointing. Puerto Rico's bankrupt utility will have paid Whitefish almost $21 million to date, $10.9 million to bring its 300 workers and heavy equipment to the island, and $9.8 million pending for the work done so far. PREPA is already $9 billion in debt. It may now have to contend with a lawsuit for breach of contract.
Okay, well, it's time now to take a check on how the markets are shaping up. How are they looking so far?
European indexes opening mixed today. Investors cautious over the ongoing crisis between Catalonia and Madrid. London's FTSE 100 opening 0.2% lower. 1/10 here in Paris. Looks like that's up to around just over the flat line now. Frankfurt DAX also just over flat line. As IBEX in Madrid is down over 1% as tensions continue there. Asian indexes mixed in Monday trading with corporate results and predictions on Donald Trump's picks for the next chair of the U.S. Federal Reserve moving markets there. The Nikkei closing just over the flat line with financials losing ground. Korea's Kospi index finishing up around 0.2% as oil and tech stocks rose there. Chinese markets taking a tumble with a wave of new public stock offerings on the horizon. Shanghai Composite had its worst day in 11 weeks, losing over 0.75%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng index closing down nearly 0.1%.
Okay, and finally, from business, Halloween is nearly upon us, and in the land of Brexit, it seems a holiday built on fear is back from the dead.
That's right. In recent years, Halloween's greatest popularity has been in the United States, but as many know, it has its roots in Celtic traditions. Now it looks like the Brits are reanimating their old traditions as the holiday grows in popularity there. Analysts are predicting England will spend £320 million on Halloween this year, a 3% jump over last year. A key for that growth is millennials, 60% of whom spend money on the holiday. There are a number of theories as to why the spooky celebration is making a comeback. High on that list, though, Brexit. Let's take a listen.
I think we always see a trend in things like zombie movies, vampire movies, horror movies when things are bad because it's a pure escapism. I really think it's some sort of escapism just so they can go out and have a really good time because everything is a little bit bleak right now.
Okay, well, I definitely think it all began in Ireland, of course, that Halloween traditions, but there you go. Thanks so much, Brian Quinn, with that business update.